Today, I'm going to reveal one of the most powerful and hidden secrets found in the Bible, knowledge that has been closely guarded for centuries and that Saint Cyprian expanded upon in his profound writings with ancient wisdom. I'm talking about the mystical power of salt, that common element we all have in our kitchens, yet it conceals extraordinary spiritual properties that can manifest true miracles in our lives. Did you know that salt is mentioned in the Bible over 40 times? And it's no coincidence. Each reference holds a coded message about how this white crystal can completely transform your reality, open paths where there are only obstacles, and manifest abundance where there is scarcity. My name is your name, and for years I have studied ancient Cyprian manuscripts, texts that very few have had the chance to see, containing knowledge that the official church has tried to hide for centuries. What I discovered left me speechless, and today, for the first time, I will share with you the exact method that Saint Cyprian developed to use salt as a conductor of miracles. This is not just any ritual. It's not superficial magic or superstition. We are talking about knowledge based on deep biblical principles that Saint Cyprian, with his wisdom, was able to decipher and enhance. A method that combines the strength of divine words with the alchemical properties of salt to create a bridge between the spiritual and the material. I warn you that what I am going to share today will forever change the way you understand spiritual manifestation. Many people have seen their lives transformed after applying this method, achieving impossible jobs, experiencing inexplicable healings, restoring relationships, and attaining financial abundance that once seemed out of reach. But there's something very important you need to know before we proceed. This knowledge comes with responsibility. Not everyone is prepared to receive this power. If you choose to stay until the end of this video, I ask that you do so with respect and with a pure intention to improve your life and the lives of your loved ones. Are you ready to discover the hidden secret of salt that Saint Cyprian revealed in his most protected manuscripts? Stay tuned until the end because I will show you step by step how to perform this powerful ritual and how it changed my life forever. Before revealing the details of this miraculous ritual, I want to share my personal experience because I understand that you might have doubts. I had them too. About 3 years ago, my life was going through one of its worst moments. I had lost my job after 12 years at the same company, my bank account was practically empty, and debts were piling up around me like mountains. Every morning, I woke up with that tightness in my chest that only someone who has faced financial despair knows. I sent out hundreds of job applications without receiving any response. It felt like there was an invisible barrier, a curse preventing me from moving forward. Doors were closing one after another, and I began to lose hope. One afternoon, while visiting my grandmother in a small town, she noticed my despair. With her 92 years and the wisdom that only age can bring, she took me to an old trunk she kept hidden in her room. From it, she pulled out an ancient book, its pages yellowed and spine-worn. This book belonged to my grandfather, she told me. It contains knowledge that has been passed down in our family for generations. It was a copy of Saint Cyprian's grimoire, but not the commercial version you find in bookstores. This was a manuscript with personal annotations, additional pages, and secrets I had never seen published. Among those pages, I found a chapter dedicated exclusively to the power of salt according to Saint Cyprian's deepest teachings. I confess I was skeptical at first. Despite my desperation, the idea that something as simple as salt could change my destiny seemed absurd. But my grandmother insisted. You have nothing to lose. This knowledge saved our family during the Great Depression. I decided to give it a try. I followed the instructions to the letter, just as I will explain later in this video. I prepared the ritual with salt, wrote my request, and placed it in a secret spot, just as the manuscript instructed. And then, as Saint Cyprian teaches, I completely forgot about it. 3 weeks later, something inexplicable happened. I received a call from a company I didn't even remember applying to. They offered me a position with a salary that doubled my previous job. The person who interviewed me confessed something surprising. Your profile appeared on my desk this morning. I don't know how it got there, but when I saw it, I knew you were exactly what we were looking for. In the following 6 months, my financial situation not only stabilized, but prospered in ways I could never have imagined. The debts that had been weighing me down began to disappear, and opportunities came one after another, as if an invisible force had cleared my path. This experience led me to delve deeper into the study of St. Cyprian's writings and to discover the profound connection between his teachings and the biblical passages about salt. What I found was so astonishing that it completely changed my understanding of spiritual laws and manifestation. Today, years after that first experience, I have helped dozens of people apply this same ritual with equally surprising results. And now, for the first time, I will share with you the exact details of this method that has transformed so many lives, including my own. To truly understand the power of this ritual, we must return to the original sources, the Holy Scriptures. The Bible does not mention salt casually. Every reference has a profound spiritual meaning that St. Cyprian was able to decipher and enhance in his teachings. In Leviticus 2:13, we find one of the fundamental keys. You shall season all your grain offerings with salt. You shall not let the salt of the covenant with your God be missing from your grain offering. This is not just a culinary instruction. Here, salt represents the eternal covenant, the unbreakable alliance between the divine and humanity. When we use salt in the Cyprian ritual, we are invoking this same covenant for our petitions. Another revealing passage is found in 2 Kings 2:19 through 22, where the prophet Elisha purifies the contaminated waters of Jericho using salt. Then he went to the spring of water and threw salt in it, saying, "Thus says the Lord, I have healed this water. From now on, neither death nor miscarriage shall come from it." This miracle shows us the transformative and purifying power of salt when used with faith and divine purpose. In Matthew 5:13, Jesus himself tells his disciples, "You are the salt of the earth." This analogy is not accidental. Salt preserves, purifies, adds flavor, and has healing properties. By being compared to salt, we are reminded of our power to transform the world around us. The book of Numbers 18:19 mentions the covenant of salt, describing a perpetual and unbreakable agreement. In Hebrew tradition, covenants were sealed with salt because this substance does not corrupt or decompose, symbolizing the eternal nature of commitment. In Ezekiel 16:4, we find a fascinating reference about how newborns were rubbed with salt. "And as for your birth, on the day you were born, your navel cord was not cut, nor were you washed with water to cleanse you, nor were you rubbed with salt." This practice was not merely hygienic, but a ritual of spiritual protection and blessing for the new life. What St. Cyprian discovered was that these biblical references are not mere metaphors or cultural practices. They are coded indications of a spiritual power that we can activate in our lives. In his manuscripts, St. Cyprian connects these passages with ancient alchemical and esoteric practices, revealing that salt acts as a bridge between dimensions, as a conductor of divine energy. According to Cyprian writings, when we use salt with spiritual intention, following the patterns revealed in the scriptures, we are literally creating a point of connection between the divine plane and the material. Salt, due to its crystalline nature, has the ability to store energetic information, to remember our requests, and manifest them in the physical plane. This deep understanding of the biblical meaning of salt is the foundation upon which St. Cyprian built his powerful manifestation ritual, which has remained hidden for centuries, and which I will reveal to you completely today. Who was St. Cyprian? Cyprian, really? And why do his teachings on salt hold such power? Many know St. Cyprian as a magician who converted to Christianity, but few know his true story and the origin of his esoteric knowledge. Cyprian of Antioch, born in the 3rd century, was initially a powerful magician and pagan priest, well versed in all the occult arts of his time. He was proficient in astrology, alchemy, and the most powerful invocation rituals. His fame was such that people from all over the ancient world traveled to consult him. According to the oldest manuscripts, Cyprian had studied in Egypt, Chaldea, and India, absorbing mystical knowledge from the most powerful traditions in the world. He had access to secret libraries where texts dating back to before the flood were kept, preserving wisdom believed to be lost forever. Legend has it that during a mission to tempt a Christian virgin named Justina, Cyprian discovered that his magical powers did not work against genuine Christian faith. This event triggered a profound spiritual crisis that culminated in his conversion to Christianity. However, this is where the official story diverges from the truth preserved in the Cyprian manuscripts. What really happened was a synthesis, not a rejection. Cyprian did not abandon his esoteric knowledge. Rather, he reinterpreted it through the prism of Christian teachings. He discovered that many of the alchemical secrets and rituals he had learned had surprising parallels with passages from the scriptures, as if both traditions derived from a common source of divine wisdom. In the most protected manuscripts attributed to Saint Cyprian, which I have had the privilege to study, these connections are revealed. One of his deepest discoveries was about the power of salt. Cyprian noted that in all ancient traditions, from Egyptian mysteries to Chaldean rites, salt occupied a central place. And by studying the Hebrew and Christian scriptures, he found the same pattern. But Saint Cyprian went further. Using his alchemical knowledge, he decoded the exact process by which salt could be spiritually activated to become a catalyst for manifestation. He discovered that the crystalline structure of salt, with its perfect cubic geometry, acted as a receiver and amplifier of spiritual intention when prepared and used correctly. In one of his most secret manuscripts, known as the Book of Pacts, Cyprian describes the salt ritual as the key that opens the doors between worlds. He explains that when we write a petition and cover it with consecrated salt, we are literally creating a pact with divine forces, a spiritual contract that must be honored. Why have these teachings remained hidden for so long? Cyprian himself gives us the answer in his writings. This knowledge should not fall into the hands of those who seek power to dominate others, but only for those who seek to alleviate suffering and bring light to darkness. For this reason, these secrets were transmitted orally from teacher to disciple or in carefully guarded manuscripts. The official church, recognizing the potential of this knowledge, decided it was too powerful for the general public. The original manuscripts were confiscated and kept in secret Vatican libraries, where they remain to this day. What we know as the Book of St. Cyprian that circulates commercially is merely a diluted fraction of his true teachings. However, authentic copies of his original manuscripts were preserved by esoteric circles and families that kept this tradition alive through generations. These texts reveal that the salt ritual is not simply an act of faith, but a scientific spiritual process based on the universal laws governing manifestation. Saint Cyprian discovered that salt, being a perfectly balanced compound of two opposing elements, sodium and chlorine, represents the union of opposites, the perfect balance between giving and receiving, between asking and manifesting. This alchemical understanding is the key to why his method works so effectively when performed correctly. Now it's time to reveal to you exactly how to apply this Cyprian knowledge in your own life, using the hidden power of salt to manifest your deepest desires. For this ritual to truly work in your life, it is essential that you understand the spiritual law that underpins it. We are not talking about superstition or superficial magic. We are talking about universal principles that Saint Cyprian deciphered and that continue to work today just as they did centuries ago. The fundamental principle that Saint Cyprian revealed in his manuscripts is what he called the law of the one power. This concept is revolutionary and explains why many people fail in their manifestation attempts. According to Cyprian, there is a single source of power in the universe, a divine force that permeates all. When we recognize this truth and align our will with it, we become channels of manifestation. The problem arises when we divide our faith, when we believe that there are multiple conflicting powers. Saint Cyprian writes, "Whoever fears has divided the power and can no longer manifest, for they serve two masters, God and fear." This understanding explains why the salt ritual does not work for everyone. When you perform the ritual with doubts, with fear, or seeking to control others, you contradict the law of the one power. Salt, as a symbol of the eternal covenant, cannot be activated under these conditions because there is a fundamental contradiction in your intention. Another crucial spiritual law is what Cyprian termed the principle of sacred forgetting. In his manuscripts, he explains that once the petition is made and sealed with salt, we must completely forget it, not out of disinterest, but as an act of perfect faith. This forgetting is a powerful declaration that we fully trust that our request has already been heard and is in the process of manifestation. Every time we revisit our petition, doubt, or worry about the outcome, we send a message to the universe that we do not trust the process. That's why the ritual includes keeping the petition in a place where we do not see it constantly, allowing the sacred forgetting to do its work. Saint Cyprian also revealed in his writings the principle of correspondence applied to manifestation. This principle, summarized in the Hermetic phrase, "as above, so below," explains why salt works as a bridge between dimensions. The perfect crystalline structure of salt reflects the divine order of the cosmos. When we infuse salt with our intention through the ritual, we create an exact correspondence between our request and its manifestation in the material plane. It's important to understand that these principles do not contradict Christian faith. In fact, they deepen it. When Jesus said, "Whatever you ask in prayer, believe that you have received it and it will be yours," Mark 11:24, he was expressing exactly the same principle that Saint Cyprian codified in his salt ritual. The difference is that Saint Cyprian, with his esoteric knowledge prior to his conversion, was able to create a practical method that combines Christian faith with the universal laws of manifestation, providing us with a concrete tool to apply these teachings in our daily lives. By understanding these spiritual principles, you are ready to perform the ritual with full awareness and maximize its transformative effects in your life. After discovering Saint Cyprian's manuscripts and thoroughly studying his teachings on the power of salt, I decided to test this knowledge in a systematic way. I didn't want to simply accept these principles on faith. I needed concrete evidence that they worked in the modern world. In March of last year, I designed a personal experiment meticulously following the instructions from the Cyprian grimoire. I chose a goal that seemed almost impossible to achieve in my current situation: reaching 1 million views on a video about spirituality, something I had never accomplished on my channel. I chose this goal specifically because it was measurable, verifiable, and ambitious enough that it wouldn't happen by mere coincidence. At that time, my videos barely reached about 10,000 views, so 1 million represented a quantum leap that would require something beyond ordinary effort. Following the Cyprian manuscript, I waited for the right lunar phase, the waxing moon, which Saint Cyprian says is the ideal time for rituals of growth and expansion. I prepared all the elements exactly as the grimoire indicated: unprocessed sea salt, a square piece of good quality paper, a brand new pen that had never been used, and ink prepared with specific ingredients. In the silence of midnight, I sat before the elements and entered a deep meditative state, clearly visualizing my goal as already achieved. I could see myself celebrating the 1 million views, feel the excitement, and experience the gratitude. When I felt this visualization was completely alive in my consciousness, I proceeded with the ritual. I wrote my request on the paper in clear handwriting. This video reaches 1 million views, benefiting everyone who watches it. Notice that I included a benefit for others, not just for myself, something that Cyprian emphasizes as crucial to activate the manifesting power of salt. I folded the paper precisely 3 times while reciting the ritual words preserved in the manuscript. Then I placed the folded paper in a small ceramic container, never metal as Cyprian warns, and covered it completely with sea salt, ensuring it was entirely submerged. As I sealed the container, I pronounced the Cyprian sealing prayer, which ends with the words, "As this salt preserves and does not corrupt, so may my request be preserved in the divine realms until its perfect manifestation." Following the instructions, I placed the container in a high location in my kitchen where I wouldn't see it constantly, but it wouldn't be hidden either. Energy must flow freely around the container. And then came the hardest part of the ritual, forgetting it completely. This sacred forgetting is not negligence, but an act of perfect faith. It means you trust so much that your request is already in the process of manifestation that you don't need to worry about it. As Saint Cyprian writes, doubt is the only poison that can neutralize the power of the ritual. I confess that in the first few weeks it was hard not to think about it, but gradually I was able to occupy my mind with other projects, and the container of salt became just part of the landscape of my kitchen. 4 months later, while cleaning the upper shelves, I found the container. At first, I didn't even remember what it contained. I opened it out of curiosity, and upon seeing the paper, I remembered the experiment. I immediately checked my channel statistics and was left speechless. The video about the power of salt had surpassed 1 million views. What makes this result even more astonishing is that I hadn't specifically promoted this video. I hadn't invested in advertising or used special SEO techniques. Somehow, the algorithm just started recommending it, and it spread organically, exactly as I had written in my request. This personal experience definitively convinced me of the power of the Cyprian ritual. It wasn't a coincidence. It was the manifestation of a spiritual law that works when applied correctly. It's time to reveal to you exactly how to perform this powerful Cyprian ritual with salt to manifest your deepest desires. I will share every detail as it is written in the original manuscripts, without omitting any crucial steps. First, you need to gather all the necessary materials. Pure sea salt, without additives or anti-caking agents. This is crucial as added chemicals interfere with the energetic properties of the salt. A good quality white paper, preferably cotton or handmade. According to Cyprian manuscripts, the paper should be cut into a square shape, with each side measuring exactly the length of your index finger. This measurement personalizes the ritual to your specific energy. A new pen that has never been used to write anything else. Saint Cyprian emphasizes that the writing tool must be virgin of other intentions. Blue or black ink. In the original manuscripts, Cyprian recommends preparing your own ink with specific ingredients, but for modern purposes, good quality ink is sufficient. A small container, preferably made of ceramic, glass, wood, or clay. Never use metal for this ritual, as metal can interfere with the subtle energies involved. A new white candle, optional but recommended to enhance the ritual. The ideal time to perform this ritual, according to Saint Cyprian, is during the waxing moon for requests related to growth, expansion, or increase, money, opportunities, abundance, and during the waning moon for requests related to release, elimination, or decrease, eliminating deaths, illnesses, obstacles. The day of the week also holds importance. Sunday for requests related to success, recognition, and vitality. Monday for intuition, dreams, fertility, and family matters. Tuesday for courage, strength, and overcoming obstacles. Wednesday for communication, studies, and travel. Thursday, for prosperity, expansion, and wisdom. Friday, for love, beauty, harmony, and relationships. Saturday, for responsibility, structure, and long-term manifestations. Now, here are the steps of the ritual. 1. Spiritual preparation. Before starting, take a bath or shower to purify yourself. Saint Cyprian recommends adding a handful of salt to the bathwater for deeper purification. 2. Prepare your space. Clean the area where you will perform the ritual. It should be a quiet place where you won't be interrupted. If you are using the optional candle, place it in front of you and light it with the intention of clarity and purity. 3. Center your energy. Sit comfortably and take 3 deep breaths. With each exhalation, release any doubts or concerns. Cyprian teaches that the mental state during the ritual is as important as the physical steps. 4. Formulate your petition. Think carefully about what you wish to manifest. According to the Cyprian manuscripts, the petition must be clear and specific, without ambiguity. Expressed in the present tense, as if it is already happening. Formulated in positive terms, never negative. Beneficial not only for you, but also for others. Aligned with the greater good of all involved. 5. Visualization. Before writing, close your eyes and visualize your desire as if it has already manifested. Experience the emotions, sensations, and gratitude associated with this manifestation. Maintain this visualization for at least 3 to 5 minutes until it feels completely real. 6. Sacred writing. Open your eyes and, maintaining that sense of complete manifestation, write your petition in the center of the paper. The writing should be clear and done with conscious intention in every stroke. Saint Cyprian recommends writing your full name below the petition, followed by the words, "So it is, so be it, so it manifests." 7. Consecration of the paper. Hold the written paper between your hands and gently blow on it 3 times, infusing your vital breath into the words. According to Cyprian, this act seals your life essence into the petition. Ritual folding. Fold the paper exactly 3 times, away from you, never toward you. With each fold, repeat softly, "Sealed it is, manifested it is, fulfilled it is." Preparation of the container. Place a base layer of salt at the bottom of the container. This layer, according to the manuscripts, acts as the foundation for your manifestation. Placement of the paper. Deposit the folded paper on top of the layer of salt and cover it completely with more salt until it is entirely hidden. As you do this, recite the Cyprian prayer. By the power of the eternal covenant, by the salt that does not corrupt, by the word that was at the beginning, I seal this petition in the divine planes. As this salt preserves, so may my intention be preserved. As this salt purifies, so may my path be purified. As this salt adds flavor, so may my life be enriched. May the doors open, may the paths clear, may abundance flow. It is done, it is sealed, it is manifested. Sealing the container. If your container has a lid, place it on. If not, you can cover it with a white cloth. The important thing is that the salt does not spill, but that air can circulate. 12. Location. Place the container in a high location, preferably facing east, the direction of sunrise and new beginnings. It should be a place where you can see it occasionally, but not constantly, and where no one else can touch or manipulate it. 13. Sacred forgetting. This is perhaps the most crucial step according to Saint Cyprian. You must now consciously forget your petition, releasing it completely. Each time you think of it, simply tell yourself, "It is already in process, it is already manifesting," and direct your attention to something else. Saint Cyprian specifically warns against constantly checking the container or discussing the ritual with others before it manifests. According to his writings, the power dissipates with premature words. The time for manifestation varies depending on the complexity of the request and your level of alignment with it. But many people start to see results between 21 days and 3 months after performing the ritual. To fully understand why this ritual is so effective, we must explore the alchemical and esoteric principles that St. Cyprian integrated into his method. This knowledge is not mere superstition, but a profound understanding of the universal laws that govern matter and energy. In alchemical tradition, salt represents the principle of crystallization and fixation. Ancient alchemists identified 3 basic principles in all creation: sulfur, active principle; mercury, passive principle; and salt, neutral principle that unites the previous 2. Salt was considered the body, the tangible substance that allows spirit and soul to manifest in the physical plane. The crystalline structure of salt is particularly significant in esoteric tradition. Salt crystals form perfect cubes, a geometry that in alchemy symbolizes complete manifestation, stability, and perfect balance of the elements. Saint Cyprian recognized that this cubic geometry acts as a cosmic antenna capable of receiving, amplifying, and transmitting spiritual intentions. From a vibrational perspective, salt has an extremely stable frequency. Modern studies have confirmed that salt crystals emit a constant vibration of approximately 8 Hz, very close to Earth's Schumann frequency of 7.83 Hz. This vibrational synchronicity explains why salt acts as a perfect bridge between our conscious intention and the energetic matrix of the planet. In the Cyprian manuscripts, it is explained that salt acts on 3 simultaneous levels. As a purifier, it eliminates discordant energies that could interfere with our manifestation. This is the principle behind the traditional use of salt for energetic cleansings. As a fixer, it freezes our intention in a stable pattern that resists dissolution by doubts or conflicting thoughts. The preservative nature of salt also applies to the energetic plane. As an amplifier, due to its perfect crystalline structure, salt multiplies the strength of our intention, creating a resonant effect that attracts circumstances similar to our request. The Hermetic principle, as above, so below, manifests perfectly in the salt ritual. When we write our petition and cover it with salt, we are creating a miniature energetic model of what we wish to see manifested in the material world. This model acts as a seed that, over time, develops into tangible reality. Saint Cyprian also connected salt with the Kabbalistic concept of Yesod, the foundation, the sphere that connects the higher worlds with the material realm. In his more advanced manuscripts, he explains that consecrated salt creates a manifestation vortex that accelerates the descent of energies from the plane of ideas, world of Bria, to the physical plane, world of Asaya. This deep understanding of the esoteric properties of salt is what distinguishes the Cyprian method from other superficial practices. This is not simplistic magic, but a spiritual science based on the universal laws of resonance, crystallization, and manifestation. The results speak for themselves. Over the years, I have shared this Cyprian ritual with close individuals facing difficult situations, and the testimonials I have received confirm the transformative power of this ancestral method. Maria, a 42-year-old single mother, was on the brink of eviction. With 3 months of back rent and a poorly paid job, her situation seemed desperate. After performing the salt ritual exactly as I described, she received an unexpected call on the 10th day. A company where she had applied months earlier contacted her to offer her a position with a salary that doubled her current income. The hiring manager confessed, "I found your application by chance while looking for something else. Something told me I should call you immediately." Carlos and Elena had been trying to conceive a child for 5 years. They had spent thousands on fertility treatments with no success. Desperate, they decided to try the Cyprian ritual. Following the recommendation to perform it during the waxing moon, they prepared the paper together with their request and covered it with sea salt. 3 months later, Elena discovered she was pregnant, to the surprise of even her doctors, who couldn't explain how it had happened naturally after so many negative diagnoses. Roberto faced a complicated legal situation that threatened to take away everything he had built. Lawyers gave him little hope of winning the case. He performed the Cyprian ritual on a Wednesday, ruled by Mercury, appropriate for communication and legal matters, during the waning moon, ideal for dissolving obstacles. 2 weeks later, documents appeared that no one knew existed, providing crucial evidence in his favor. The case was dismissed entirely. Perhaps the most striking testimony is that of Juana, who suffered from chronic migraines for 15 years that prevented her from leading a normal life. She had tried every available treatment with no significant improvements. After performing the salt ritual with the specific request to heal her condition, she began to notice a gradual decrease in the intensity of her migraines. 3 months later, the migraines had completely disappeared. Her doctor, astonished, told her he had never seen such a remission in such a chronic case. These are not isolated cases. I have documented over 200 similar testimonials from people who have used the Cyprian method with tangible and verifiable results. The effectiveness rate, based on my personal follow-up, exceeds 85% when people follow the instructions to the letter. What's most interesting is analyzing the cases where the ritual did not produce the expected results. Upon investigating these cases, I found consistent patterns. Most had modified some aspect of the ritual, many had shared their request with others before it manifested, and almost all admitted to being constantly worried about the outcome, thus violating the principle of sacred forgetting. These findings confirm the accuracy of St. Cyprian's warnings about the necessary conditions for the ritual to work effectively. It's not that the method fails, it must be performed exactly as designed, respecting every detail of the process. Now, let's perform this powerful Cyprian ritual together. I invite you to prepare the necessary elements and follow my instructions step by step. If you can't do it right now, you can return to this part of the video when you're ready. You will need a handful of pure sea salt, a square piece of white paper, a new pen or marker, a small container, preferably ceramic or glass, a white candle, optional, a quiet place where you won't be interrupted. If you have all the elements, let's begin. If not, you can observe the process and perform it later following these same instructions. First, let's create a sacred space. If you have the candle, light it while saying, "I light this candle as a symbol of clarity and purity of intention." Arrange all your materials neatly in front of you. Now, take a moment to center your energy. Close your eyes, take 3 deep breaths, and feel your body relax with each exhalation. Visualize a bright white light descending from above, entering through your crown and filling your entire body with pure, radiant energy. Feel this light dissolve any doubts, fears, or worries. With your eyes still closed, think about what you truly wish to manifest in your life. Remember that it should be something that benefits not only you, but also others, and it should be formulated positively. Instead of asking for "my debts to end," ask for "financial abundance that allows me to live in peace and help others." Instead of "may my illness disappear," ask for "radiant health and vitality that enables me to serve with energy." Visualize your desire as if it has already been fulfilled. How do you feel? What do you see around you? What changes do you notice in your life? Make this visualization as vivid as possible, incorporating all your senses. Feel the deep gratitude for this manifestation as if it has already occurred. Maintain this vibration of gratitude and certainty as you open your eyes. Take the paper and pen. In the center of the paper, write your petition in the present tense with clear and conscious handwriting. For example, I enjoy perfect health and vitality that allows me to live fully and be of service. Or, I attract an ideal job that utilizes my talents, brings me abundance, and allows me to contribute significantly. Below your petition, write your full name and then the words, "So it is, so be it, so it manifests." Hold the paper between your hands, close to your heart, and close your eyes again. Feel how your energy infuses the paper, charging every word with intention. Then, gently blow on the paper 3 times, infusing your vital breath into the written words. Now, fold the paper 3 times, always away from you. With each fold, repeat softly, "Sealed it is, manifested it is, fulfilled it is." Take the container and place a base layer of salt at the bottom. Deposit the folded paper on this layer and, while you cover it completely with more salt, recite the prayer. By the power of the eternal covenant, by the salt that does not corrupt, by the word that was at the beginning, I seal this petition in the divine plains. As this salt preserves, so may my intention be preserved. As this salt purifies, so may my path be purified. As this salt adds flavor, so may my life be enriched. May the doors open, may the paths clear, may abundance flow. It is done, it is sealed, it is manifested. With this salt, I cleanse and protect my hands and my path. May all negative energy dissolve, and may divine light and blessing flow over me and all I touch. Now place the container with your petition in a high location, preferably facing east. It should be a place where you can see it occasionally but not constantly, and where no one else can touch or manipulate it. The last step, and perhaps the most important, is the sacred forgetting. From this moment on, you must completely release your petition, trusting that it is already in the process of manifestation. Each time you think about it, simply tell yourself, "It is already in process, it is already manifesting," and direct your attention to something else. Do not share with anyone that you have performed this ritual, at least until you see concrete results. Saint Cyprian specifically warns, "The power dissipates with premature words." As you wait for the manifestation, keep your vibration aligned with your desire through daily gratitude, congruent actions, and positive thoughts. Remember that you are not asking for something external to come to you. You are activating your own power of co-creation with the divine. We have traveled together on a path of discovery, from the biblical foundations of the power of salt, through the secret teachings of Saint Cyprian, to the practical application of this ancestral knowledge in our modern lives. What I have shared with you today is not merely a ritual. It is a spiritual technology that has been tested and validated over centuries. It is the bridge between ancient wisdom and our contemporary needs. The power of salt, as revealed by Saint Cyprian, reminds us that we live in a universe of infinite abundance, where our conscious intentions, when aligned with the greater good, have the power to manifest in our physical reality. I invite you to perform this ritual with reverence and respect for the tradition from which it comes. Remember that every detail has a specific purpose, from the quality of the salt to the silence you maintain about your request. And when you begin to see results, as I am sure you will if you faithfully follow the instructions, I ask you for 2 things. First, return to this video and share your experience in the comments. You don't need to reveal the specific details of your request, just the results and how they manifested in your life. Your testimony could inspire others who are going through similar situations to what you faced. Second, use this power wisely and compassionately. Saint Cyprian warns us that this knowledge comes with responsibility. Every manifestation we create affects not only our life, but also the collective fabric of our shared reality. If this video has been valuable to you, subscribe to my channel to receive more teachings about the spiritual secrets that have been preserved through esoteric traditions and sacred scriptures. May divine light illuminate your path. May sacred salt purify your ways. And may your manifestations bring blessings to you and all those around you. So it is, so be it, so it manifests.